The alarm bells rang across Nexus Station like angry metal birds. Red lights flashed in every corridor. Commander Wu ran through the halls, his blue skin darker than usual with worry. Something terrible had happened. In the main meeting room, hundreds of alien hunters sat in their chairs. Some had fur, others had scales. A few glowed softly in the dim light. All of them looked scared. They were the best hunters in the galaxy, but today they faced something new. Commander Wu stepped up to the big screen at the front of the room. His forearms moved quickly as he pressed buttons. Pictures appeared on the screen. Pictures of monsters that made even the bravest hunters feel cold inside. 5 creatures have escaped, Commander Wu said. His voice was steady, but everyone could hear the fear underneath. These are not normal animals. These are the 5 most deadly things in our galaxy. The first picture showed a shadow with red eyes. It looked like smoke, but smoke that could kill. The Void Stalker, Commander Wu said. It can walk through walls. It can become invisible. It hunts in the dark places between stars. 3 planets have lost all their people to this thing. The second picture showed something that looked like a mountain made of glass. But this glass had teeth. The Crystalline Devourer, Commander Wu continued. It eats planets, not the people on them, the actual planets. It turns rock and metal into food. It has destroyed 12 worlds in the past century. Murmurs went through the crowd. Some hunters stood up to leave. They had seen enough. The third picture showed something that hurt to look at. It was big, floating in space, with tentacles that seemed to move even in the still picture. The Psychic Leviathan, Commander Wu said quietly. It attacks minds, not bodies. Anyone who gets close goes crazy. Entire species have forgotten how to think because of this creature. The fourth picture showed a beautiful woman, but her eyes were wrong. Too bright. Too hungry. The Shadow Swarm Queen, Commander Wu said. She controls billions of tiny creatures. They are so small you cannot see them. They eat you from the inside out. The Zephyr colony had 50,000 people. Now it has none. The last picture made everyone in the room step back. It showed nothing, just empty space. But somehow, that empty space felt dangerous. The Temporal Hunter, Commander Wu whispered. It exists in many times at once. When it hunts you, it already knows how you will die. It has killed hunters who have not even been born yet. The room was silent. No one moved. These 5 creatures had been locked away in the most secure prison in the galaxy. Now they were free. Dr. Yuna Park stood up. She was human, with short black hair and tired eyes. She worked with alien animals, trying to understand them. Each creature is in a different part of the galaxy, she said. They are moving away from each other. Getting them back will take time. How much time? Asked a hunter with green skin and too many teeth. Dr. Park looked at her notes. Our best team's working together. Maybe 2 years. Maybe more. The room exploded with noise. Hunters shouted at each other. Some said it was impossible. Others said they should just destroy the planets where the creatures were hiding. Commander Wu raised all 4 arms for quiet. We cannot wait 2 years, he said. These things will kill millions. We need them caught now. That is impossible, said Kai. He was tall and thin, with silver skin that looked like metal. His people, the Zenthari, were known for being smart. No one can catch 5 death creatures in a short time. It cannot be done. A voice came from the back of the room. I can do it. Everyone turned to look. A young human woman walked down the steps between the seats. She was small compared to most aliens in the room. She had long black hair tied back and wore simple hunting clothes. Her name was Hana Kim. I can catch all 5 in 1 weekend, Hana said. The room was quiet for 1 second. Then everyone started laughing. The sound was not nice. It was the kind of laughing that happens when someone says something very stupid. A human, said the green-skinned hunter. You think a human can do what our best teams cannot? Humans are new, said another hunter with fur like a cat. They have only been in space for a few hundred years. What can they know about hunting? Hana walked to the front of the room. She did not look angry at the laughing. She looked calm. "I caught a quantum wraith last year," she said. "Alive. No one had ever done that before." The laughing stopped. Everyone knew about quantum wraiths. They were impossible to catch because they existed in many places at once. But Hana had done it. Kai stood up. "Even if that is true," he said, "these 5 creatures are different. They are older, more dangerous. Some of them have been alive since before your species learned to make fire." Hana smiled. "That is exactly why I can catch them," she said. "Explain," Commander Wu said. "These creatures are old," Hana said. "They have been fighting the same kinds of hunters for thousands of years. They know how you think. They know how you hunt. But they do not know how humans think." "Because humans do not think," said the cat-like hunter. More laughing. "Because humans think differently," Hana said. Her voice was still calm. "You hunt with logic, with technology, with strength. Humans hunt with chaos, with feelings, with crazy ideas that should not work but do." Dr. Park was watching Hana with interest. "You really think you can do this?" she asked. "Give me the files on all 5 creatures," Hana said. "Give me a fast ship and basic equipment. I will have them all back here by Sunday night." Commander Wu looked around the room. No one else was volunteering. The other hunters were still laughing or shaking their heads. "This is madness," Kai said. But he was looking at Hana with curious eyes. "If you fail, you will die. Probably in a very painful way." "If I fail, I die," Hana agreed. "If I do nothing, millions die. I choose to try." Jay, the station administrator, stepped forward. He was human too, but older, with gray hair and worry lines around his eyes. "Hana," he said quietly, "these things, they are not just dangerous. They are death itself. Please think about this." "I have thought about it," Hana said. "I will need Dr. Park to give me everything she knows about these creatures. I will need a ship that can jump between star systems quickly. And I will need someone to watch and record what happens." "I will go with you," Kai said suddenly. Everyone looked at him in surprise. "Someone should document your final moments and—" He paused. "I am curious to see how a human dies when facing impossible odds." Hana laughed. It was a nice sound, not like the mean laughing from before. "I do not plan to die," she said. "I plan to hunt." Commander Wu looked at the other hunters. None of them were moving to volunteer. The creatures were too dangerous. The mission was too crazy. "Very well," he said finally. "Dr. Park will give you the files. Jay will prepare a ship. You leave in 2 hours." As the meeting ended and aliens filed out of the room, Kai walked up to Hana. "Why?" he asked. "Why do this impossible thing?" Hana was already reading Dr. Park's files on her tablet. "Because someone has to," she said without looking up. "And because impossible is just another word for something no one has figured out how to do yet." Kai watched her study the information about creatures that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries. She looked so small, so young. But there was something in her eyes that made him think maybe, just maybe, the impossible might happen after all. Hana's ship cut through space like a silver arrow. It was small but fast, built for quick jumps between star systems. Kai sat in the co-pilot seat watching Hana work. She moved with calm purpose, checking weapons and equipment. "Tell me about the Voidstalker again," Hana said. Kai pulled up the file on his screen. "It phases between dimensions," he said. "That means it can walk through solid matter. Walls, doors, even spaceship hulls mean nothing to it. When it attacks, you cannot see it coming. How do other hunters usually try to catch it? Phase detection equipment," Kai said. "Very expensive machines that can track dimensional shifts. But the stalker learns to avoid the sensors." "It is intelligent," Hana nodded. "What about its behavior? How does it hunt?" "It prefers dark and closed spaces. Caves, tunnels, the inside of buildings. It likes to corner its prey where they cannot run." "Interesting." Hana was quiet for a moment. "And it has been killing miners on Titan 7? "Yes, 17 dead in the past week. The mining colony is almost empty now. People are too scared to work. Their ship dropped out of hyperspace near Titan 7. The asteroid was huge, covered in mining tunnels that went deep into its rocky heart. Most of the lights were off. The place looked dead. "The colony administrator is waiting for us," Kai said as they docked. A nervous man met them at the airlock. His name was Director Chen, and he looked like he had not slept in days. "Thank the stars you are here," he said. "That thing killed 3 more miners yesterday. We found their bodies this morning. Or what was left of them." "Show me where," Hana said. Director Chen led them through empty corridors to the deepest part of the mine. The tunnel stretched into darkness. Emergency lights flickered weakly. "It always attacks in the deep tunnels," Chen said, "where the shadows are thickest." Hana walked to the edge of the tunnel and looked down. "Perfect," she said. "Perfect." Kai stared at her. "Perfect for getting killed, maybe." "Kai, do you know what fireflies are?" "No." "Small insects from Earth. They make light with their bodies using chemical reactions. Very simple chemistry, but very useful." Hana opened her equipment bag and pulled out several small containers. "I need you to help me spray something in this tunnel." "What is it?" "A mixture I created. It reacts to dark matter disturbances. When something phases between dimensions, it disturbs dark matter. This chemical will glow when that happens." Kai looked confused. "But the stalker will see the light and avoid it." "No," Hana said with a smile. "It will not see the light until it is too late." They spent an hour spraying the chemical on the tunnel walls. It was invisible in normal light. Then Hana set up her equipment at the tunnel mouth. "Now what?" Director Chen asked. "Now I go down there and wait," Hana said. "That is suicide," Kai said. "You are making yourself bait." "Yes, I am. But you could die." "I could. But I will not." Hana checked her weapons one more time. The stalker hunts using instinct. It sees weak prey in a dark tunnel and it attacks. It has done this for thousands of years, but it has never hunted a human before. Hana walked into the tunnel. She carried only a simple flashlight and what looked like a fishing net. Kai and Director Chen watched her disappear into the darkness. "She is insane," Director Chen whispered. "Maybe," Kai said, "but she is also human. And humans," he paused, "humans do things that should not work." Deep in the tunnel, Hana sat down and turned off her flashlight. The darkness was complete. She waited. 1 hour passed, then 2. Then in the distance she heard something move. Something that sounded like wind through broken glass. The Void Stalker was coming. Hana stayed very still. She could feel something watching her, but she could not see it. The creature was studying her, trying to decide if she was really as helpless as she looked. Then it attacked. The tunnel suddenly blazed with soft blue light. The chemical on the walls reacted to the stalker's dimensional shift, tracing its exact outline in glowing lines. For the first time in its ancient life, the invisible creature could be seen. The stalker froze. It was so shocked by being visible that it forgot to keep moving. Hana threw her net, but it was not a normal net. It was woven with the same chemical that made the tunnel glow. When it touched the creature, it stuck to its phased form. "Gotcha," Hana said. The stalker tried to phase away, but the net moved with it between dimensions. It was trapped. Hana activated a containment field generator, and the creature was sealed inside an energy cage. When Hana walked out of the tunnel carrying the containment unit, Kai and Director Chen stared at her like she was a ghost. "How?" Kai asked. "Fireflies," Hana said simply. Their next stop was the Zarian system, where the crystalline devourer was eating moons. When they arrived, they could see the damage. 3 moons were already gone, consumed completely. The 4th moon was half-eaten, with huge bite marks taken out of its surface. "There," Kai pointed to a shining object moving near the damaged moon. The devourer. It was beautiful and terrible. The creature looked like a mountain of living crystal, but it moved through space like a whale through water. As they watched, it took another enormous bite from the moon. "How do other hunters usually deal with it?" Hana asked. "Orbital bombardment," Kai said. "Powerful weapons that can crack its crystal shell. But you have to hit it many times and it learns to dodge." "What does it eat exactly?" "Silicon, iron, titanium. The heavy elements that make up rocky planets and moons." Hana was quiet for a long time, studying the creature through the ship's telescopes. Finally she nodded. "I think I understand," she said. "It is not evil. It is hungry. Hungry things can still be dangerous." "Yes, but hunger can be satisfied in different ways." Hana started plotting a course toward a nearby asteroid belt. Dr. Park's files say the creature was kept in a research facility for 50 years. What do you think they fed it? Artificial materials, probably. Synthetic compounds, exactly, fake food. Imagine if you could only eat fake food for 50 years. How would you feel when you finally got out? Kai thought about this. I would be very hungry for real food. And you would eat too much too fast because you were afraid it would be taken away again. Hana flew their ship toward the Devourer. It saw them coming and turned to face them. Its crystal body sparkled with dangerous light. What are you doing? Kai asked nervously, offering it a better meal. Hana had found an asteroid rich in rare minerals, elements that were not common on most planets. She positioned their ship between the asteroid and the Devourer, then opened the communications channel. She could not speak to the creature with words, but she could communicate in other ways. She used their ship's mining laser to cut open the asteroid, releasing a cloud of rich mineral dust that sparkled in the starlight. The Devourer stopped moving. It tasted the minerals in the space around it and made a sound like crystal bells ringing. It had never tasted anything so delicious. Slowly, carefully, Hana guided the creature to the asteroid. It began to feed, but differently than before. Not desperately grabbing huge chunks, but savoring each bite. When a large cargo ship arrived, one that Hana had called while they were traveling, the Devourer looked up from its meal. The ship's cargo hold was full of rare mineral asteroids, more good food than the creature had seen in centuries. The Devourer looked at Hana's small ship, then at the cargo ship full of wonderful food. It made its choice. Gently, almost politely, it moved into the cargo ship's modified hold. "Two down," Hana said as they watched the cargo ship jump to hyperspace, carrying the Devourer back to a better prison, one where it would be fed properly. "How did you know it would work?" Kai asked. "Because I was hungry once," Hana said. "Real hunger, not just wanting food. And I know that when someone offers you something better than what you have, you take it." Kai stared at her. In one day she had captured two creatures that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries, and she had done it not with superior weapons or technology, but with understanding. "What is our next target?" he asked. Hana checked her list. "The psychic Leviathan. That one is going to be interesting." As their ship jumped back into hyperspace, Kai found himself believing that maybe, just maybe, this impossible weekend hunt might actually succeed. The psychic waste looked like a graveyard in space. Broken ships floated between dead planets. Everything here was gray and empty. This was where minds came to die. "I should not be here," Kai said, staring out at the wasteland. "No Zenthari has ever survived the psychic wastes. Our minds are too organized, too logical. The Leviathan will crack my thoughts like an egg." "Stay in the ship," Hana said. She was putting on a special helmet with mental shielding. "Keep the engines running. If I am not back in 2 hours, leave without me." "What will you do differently than the hundreds of hunters who have died here?" Hana smiled. "I will think like a human." She took a small shuttle down to the planet where the psychic Leviathan was hiding. The planet had once been home to 1 billion people. Now it was empty. The cities were still there, but no one lived in them. The Leviathan had driven everyone insane, and they had all died. Hana landed near the largest city. She could feel the creature's presence immediately, a weight pressing against her mind, trying to get inside her thoughts. Most people would have run. Hana walked deeper into the city. The buildings around her began to change. Not really, but in her mind they twisted into impossible shapes. This was how the Leviathan attacked. It made you see things that were not there. It made you think thoughts that were not yours. But Hana was ready. As the creature pushed against her mind, she started thinking about her favorite song from Earth, a silly pop song about dancing. Then she started thinking about what she wanted to eat for dinner. Pizza, maybe, or noodles. The pressure in her head increased. The Leviathan was trying harder now, sending waves of terror and madness into her brain. Hana responded by remembering her shopping list. Milk, bread, cat food for her neighbor's cat. She had promised to feed it while her neighbor was away. The attack became stronger. Images of horror filled her vision. Monsters with too many teeth, people melting like wax, stars dying in the sky. Hana thought about a funny video she had seen on the internet. A cat playing piano. It was very cute. Something strange happened. The attack stopped. Hana could feel the Leviathan's confusion. It was used to minds that worked in straight lines. Logical thoughts, organized fears, predictable responses. But human minds were chaos. Hana was thinking about dancing, pizza, shopping, cats, and horror monsters all at the same time. Her brain jumped from idea to idea like a rabbit in a field. The Leviathan tried a different approach. It sent images of Hana's worst memories, times when she had failed, people she had lost, moments of deep sadness. This usually broke even the strongest minds. Hana felt the sadness, but she also started thinking about math. 2 + 2 = 4. The square root of 16 is 4. 4 is also the number of legs on a cat. Cats are funny when they fall off tables, but they always land on their feet, like her. She always landed on her feet even when sad things happened. The Leviathan made a sound like whale song mixed with screaming. It was frustrated. This small human's mind was like trying to grab water with your hands. Every time it thought it had a grip on her thoughts, they changed direction. Hana pulled out her psychic dampening device and activated it. The field spread around her, creating a quiet space where telepathic attacks could not reach. The Leviathan, already confused by her chaotic thinking, found itself suddenly cut off from its main weapon. "Hello?" Hana said out loud. "I am here to take you home." The creature appeared before her, a massive thing with tentacles and too many eyes. It had been ancient when humans were still learning to make fire. But now it looked at her with something like respect. She led it into a special containment unit designed for telepathic creatures. As the unit sealed shut, Hana could have sworn she heard the Leviathan say something in her mind. "Thank you." Her next target was the Shadow Swarm Queen. The Queen had taken over Paradise Station, a huge space station that housed 50,000 people. The station was still there, still functioning, but everyone on it was dying slowly. "The swarm is microscopic," Dr. Park explained over the radio. "Billions of tiny creatures that burrow into living tissue. They eat you from the inside out over several days. Very painful." "Can we just destroy the station?" Kai asked. "No," Hana said firmly. 50,000 people are still alive in there. We save them." They docked with Paradise Station carefully. The outside looked normal, but Hana could see tiny holes in the metal walls where the swarm had been eating. Inside the station, people moved like sleepwalkers. They were still alive, but barely. "The Queen controls the swarm through quantum vibrations," Hana read from Dr. Park's notes. "Like a radio signal, but much more complex." "How do we fight something we cannot see?" Kai asked. "We do not fight it," Hana said. "We annoy it." Hana connected her ship's sound system to a quantum resonator, a device that could translate normal sounds into quantum frequencies. Then she loaded a very special sound file. "What is that noise?" Kai asked as horrible screeching filled the shuttle. "Fingernails on a chalkboard," Hana said. "One of the most annoying sounds humans know. I recorded it and mixed it with feedback from microphones and the sound of metal scraping on metal." She broadcast the terrible noise across quantum frequencies throughout the station. The effect was immediate. The tiny creatures of the swarm, which had been quietly eating the station and its people, suddenly could not communicate with each other or their queen. Like ants when their chemical trails are disrupted, the swarm panicked. Billions of microscopic creatures began rushing back to their queen for new orders. They abandoned their victims and poured through the station's corridors like a living river. Hana tracked their movement and found the queen in the station's central hub. She was beautiful and terrible, a woman-shaped creature with skin like starlight and eyes like black holes. Around her, the swarm formed a writhing cloud of tiny lights. "Now for part 2, Hana said. She changed the music. Bach's Goldberg variations filled the quantum frequencies. The mathematical precision of the classical music, translated into the quantum realm, had an unexpected effect on the swarm. The tiny creatures which lived their entire lives in chaos and hunger had never experienced true harmony. They stopped moving. They stopped trying to eat everything. They just listened." The Queen stared at Hana with ancient eyes. She had conquered worlds with her children, but she had never heard anything like this music. It was order made into sound, beauty made into mathematics. Hana activated a mass teleportation device. One by one, the Queen and her billions of children were transported into specially prepared containment units. They went willingly, still listening to the music. "How did you know that would work?" Kai asked as they watched the last of the swarm disappear into containment. "Music is math," Hana said, "and math is the language of the universe. Even creatures of chaos can appreciate perfect harmony when they hear it." Around them, the station's people were already starting to move normally again. Medical teams would arrive soon to help them recover. 50,000 lives saved. 3 down, Hana said, checking her list. 2 to go. The next one is the temporal hunter, Kai said quietly. That is the most dangerous one. It exists in multiple timelines. It already knows every move you will make. Does it? Hana asked. We will see about that. As they prepared to jump to their next destination, Kai watched Hana work. She had defeated a telepathic monster by thinking chaotically, and a swarm intelligence by using music. Each victory seemed impossible, but she made them look easy. What makes humans so different? He asked. Hana thought about this. Other species evolved to survive in predictable ways, she said. Stronger claws, better armor, sharper teeth. Humans evolved to survive by being unpredictable. We think in circles. We feel many emotions at once. We make art out of math and find beauty in chaos. And that makes you better hunters? It makes us different hunters, Hana said. Sometimes different is exactly what you need. Outside their ship, space stretched endlessly in all directions. Somewhere out there, the temporal hunter was waiting. It had killed countless beings across multiple timelines, but it had never faced a human before. And humans, as Kai was learning, were full of surprises. Sunday evening came quietly to Nexus Station. The weekend shift was ending. Most beings were preparing for the new week ahead. Few noticed the small ship approaching Docking Bay 7. Commander Wu was in his office when the alert came through. He looked at his screen and blinked all 4 eyes in disbelief. Hana Kim's ship was requesting permission to dock. She was supposed to be dead by now. In the main docking bay, word spread quickly. The human who had left 2 days ago to do the impossible was coming back. Aliens gathered at the windows to watch her ship land. Some came to laugh at her failure. Others came to collect her body. None of them expected what they saw next. Hana walked down the ship's ramp, followed by Kai. Behind them, floating on anti-gravity platforms, came 5 containment units. Each unit glowed softly, indicating it held something alive inside. The docking bay fell completely silent. Even the mechanical sounds of the station seemed to stop. Hundreds of aliens stared at the small human woman who had done what their greatest heroes could not. Commander Wu arrived at a run, his breath coming in short gasps. Is it true? He asked. All 5? All 5, Hana confirmed. She handed him a datapad with capture reports. The Void Stalker, contained through innovation. The Crystalline Devourer, relocated through compassion. The Psychic Leviathan, captured through chaos. The Shadow Swarm Queen, calmed through music. The Temporal Hunter, paralyzed through randomness. Dr. Park pushed through the crowd, her scanner already in hand. She checked each containment unit carefully. Her face grew paler with each reading. This is impossible, she whispered. These readings, they are all alive. All stable, all secured properly. She looked up at Hana with wide eyes. How? By thinking like a human instead of like a hunter, Hana said simply. The crowd began to murmur. Word was spreading throughout the station. Some aliens refused to believe it. Others demanded proof. A few simply stood in stunned silence. Jay appeared, pushing through the crowd. As the station administrator, he had prepared himself to arrange Hana's funeral. Instead, he found himself staring at the greatest capture in galactic history. The time log shows you were gone for 47 hours and 23 minutes, he said, checking his records. Less than 2 days. I promised Sunday evening, Hana said. It is Sunday evening. More aliens gathered. Hunters who had spent decades trying to capture just one of these creatures stared at the 5 containment units. Some looked angry. Others looked confused. A few looked frightened. Explain, demanded the green-skinned hunter who had mocked Hana 2 days ago. How does a human succeed where we have failed? Kai stepped forward. During their journey home, he had thought carefully about what he had witnessed. Now he understood what he needed to tell his people. She did not hunt like us, Kai said to the crowd. We hunt with logic, with technology, with force. We study our prey and plan careful strategies. We predict behavior and prepare for every possibility. And that is the right way, said the cat-like hunter. The logical way. For most prey, yes, Kai agreed. But these 5 creatures have been alive for thousands of years. They have seen every logical strategy. They know how hunters think because hunters always think the same way. He gestured to the containment units. But humans think differently. Hana used firefly chemistry to make the invisible visible. She fed a starving creature instead of fighting it. She confused a mind reader with chaos. She calmed a violent swarm with classical music. She trapped a time traveler with coin flips. Those are not hunting techniques, protested another hunter. Those are... I do not know what those are. Exactly, Kai said. You do not know because no one in this galaxy thinks like humans do. They solve problems in ways that should not work but do. Dr. Park was still studying her scanner readings. The creatures show no signs of trauma, she announced to the crowd. They were not beaten into submission. The crystalline devourer actually seems content. The Shadow Swarm Queen appears to be sleeping peacefully. Because they were not conquered, Hana explained. They were understood. The Void Stalker had never been seen before. I showed it what visibility felt like. The Devourer had been fed artificial food for 50 years. I gave it real minerals. The Leviathan attacks organized minds. I gave it chaos. The Swarm communicates through quantum vibrations. I gave it better music. The Hunter sees all possibilities. I gave it true randomness. Commander Wu shook his head slowly. In all my years of command, I have never seen anything like this. 5 impossible captures in one weekend. They were not impossible, Hana said. They were just problems that no one had solved yet. An old hunter near the back of the crowd spoke up. His species was ancient, with skin like tree bark and eyes like stars. In my 300 years, I have seen many hunting techniques. Strength, speed, cunning, technology. But I have never seen this. What? Asked Kai. Empathy, the old hunter said. She understood her prey better than they understood themselves. She did not hunt them. She helped them. The crowd was growing larger. News of the captures was spreading throughout the station. Soon representatives from every major species in the galaxy would arrive to witness this impossible achievement. What happens now? Jay asked. Commander Wu stood straighter.
Now we formally recognize what has occurred here.
The Galactic Hunters Guild has protocols for extraordinary achievements. He activated the station's main communication system. His voice echoed through every corridor, every room, every ship docked at Nexus Station. Citizens of the galaxy, he announced. Today we witness the end of an age of fear. 5 ancient terrors that have haunted our nightmares for millennia have been captured safely and without violence. This achievement was accomplished by a human hunter named Hana Kim. In partnership with Kai of the Zenthari. Pause. The station was completely silent. By the authority of the Galactic Hunters Guild, I hereby grant Hana Kim the title of Apex Hunter, the highest rank possible in our organization. Furthermore, I recommend that the Galactic Council formally recognize humans as the galaxy's premier hunters, not for their strength or technology, but for their unique approach to understanding and solving impossible problems. Cheers erupted throughout the station. Not from everyone. Some hunters still looked angry or confused. But many aliens understood what they had witnessed. A new way of thinking had entered their galaxy. Later that evening, Hana sat in her favorite bar on the station. It was a quiet place where hunters came to relax after dangerous missions. Kai sat across from her, still trying to process everything that had happened. Communication requests are coming in from across the galaxy, he said, reading his tablet. Dozens of contracts for other impossible hunts. The Council of Worlds wants to hire human hunting teams. 3 different universities want to study your methods. Hana sipped her drink, something blue that tasted like home. What about you? Will you stay with me for the next hunt? I think I must, Kai said. Someone needs to document these impossible things you do and... He paused. I am learning to think differently. Maybe chaos is not so bad. Through the bar's window they could see the stars. Somewhere out there, other impossible creatures waited. Problems that had no solutions. Challenges that could not be met. But for the first time in galactic history, beings across the galaxy felt hope instead of fear when they thought about the unknown. Because now they knew that somewhere among the stars, humans were thinking of new ways to turn the impossible into the inevitable. Hana Kim finished her drink and smiled. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new impossible hunts, new chances to show the galaxy that different was not just good, it was necessary. The weekend that changed everything was over. But the story it began would last forever. In the docking bay, 5 containment units hummed quietly, holding creatures that would be studied, understood, and eventually relocated to better homes. They were no longer monsters in the dark. They were just beings who had needed someone to understand them. And understanding, as the galaxy was learning, was the most powerful hunting tool of all. The temporal rift was a crack in space itself. Reality bent and twisted around it like broken glass. Ships that flew too close sometimes emerged in the past or the future, or never emerged at all. This was where the temporal hunter made its home. No one has ever returned from the rift, Kai said as they approached the impossible space. The few ships that came back were empty. Their crews had aged 1,000 years in minutes, or had become children again, or simply disappeared from time entirely. Hana studied the swirling chaos ahead of them. The hunter hides in there because it can see all possible timelines at once. When someone tries to catch it, it just moves to a timeline where it wins. Exactly. So how do you fight something that already knows your every move? By not knowing my own moves, Hana said. She opened a small bag and pulled out a coin, a set of dice, and a random number generator. Then she connected her ship's navigation system to all 3 devices. What are you doing? Kai asked, making it impossible for anyone to predict what I will do next, including me. Hana programmed the ship's computer. Every 30 seconds, the coin will flip. Heads, we turn left. Tails, we turn right. The dice will determine our speed. The random number generator will choose which weapons to prepare. That is insane. You could fly us into a star. I could. Or I could surprise a creature that has never been surprised in its million-year life. Hana smiled. Sometimes insane is exactly what you need. They entered the rift. Reality immediately went crazy around them. Hana could see multiple versions of their ship flying in different directions. In some timelines, they exploded immediately. In others, they turned around and fled. In one strange timeline, they somehow ended up as a fish swimming through space. The coin flipped. Heads. They turned left into a swirl of purple energy. The dice rolled. 3. They slowed down. The random number generator chose their plasma cannons. This is chaos, Kai said, watching reality shift around them. Exactly, Hana replied. Somewhere in the rift, the temporal hunter felt something it had never experienced before. Confusion. It could see across infinite timelines, watching every possible future unfold like branches on a tree. But this human ship was moving randomly through all of them. In timeline A, the ship turned left and exploded. In timeline B, it turned right and found nothing. In timeline C, it went straight and discovered the hunter's hiding place. But which timeline was real? The hunter tried to focus on the most probable outcome, but there wasn't one. Each choice was purely random. The coin flipped again. Tails. They turned right into a cloud of stars that might have been memories. The dice showed 6. They accelerated toward a planet that existed only on Tuesdays. The temporal hunter tried a different approach. It would attack in the timeline where the humans were weakest. But which one was that? In some timelines, Hana was confused and scared. In others, she was confident and calm. In a few very strange timelines, she was somehow both. The hunter materialized in front of their ship, a massive creature that looked like a dragon made of clocks and shadows. It existed in 17 different timelines simultaneously, its form shifting between past and future versions of itself. There you are, Hana said. She flipped the coin without looking. Heads. The ship moved left, right through the hunter's attack in timeline C, but directly into its claws in timeline F. The creature grabbed their ship, but then something impossible happened. Because Hana had moved randomly, she was now in a timeline that the hunter had not predicted. The creature found itself holding a ship that shouldn't exist in this particular branch of reality. Now, Hana said, not knowing what she was about to do next. The dice rolled. 4. She activated their 4th weapon system, a temporal stasis field that she had prepared for exactly this moment. But because she hadn't known when she would use it, the hunter hadn't seen it coming. The stasis field locked onto the hunter, but the creature tried to escape by shifting to a different timeline. However, because it was holding Hana's randomly moving ship, it was trapped between realities. It existed in all timelines but could move in none of them. Temporal paralysis, Hana said with satisfaction. You can see every possible future, but you cannot choose which one to live in. The hunter made a sound like breaking glass mixed with dying stars. For the first time in its existence, it was trapped in the present moment. It could not escape to the past or future because it did not know which past or future was real. Hana activated her containment unit. The device was specially designed for temporal creatures. It could hold something that existed across multiple timelines. The hunter, still paralyzed by infinite possibility, was drawn into the containment field. As the ancient creature disappeared into the unit, Hana could have sworn she felt something from it. Not anger or hatred, but respect. In all its long existence, across all possible timelines, it had never met a being that could surprise it. How? Kai asked as they flew out of the rift. How did you know that would work? I didn't, Hana said honestly. That was the point. If I had planned it, the hunter would have seen the plan. But you cannot predict true randomness. But what if the coin had flipped differently? What if the dice had shown different numbers? Then we would have done something completely different. And that would have been unpredictable too. Hana packed away her random devices. Humans are the only species in the galaxy that makes important decisions by flipping coins. Other species think that is foolish. It is foolish. Yes, it is. But sometimes foolish works when smart fails. They jumped back to normal space. 4 containment units sat in their cargo hold, each holding one of the galaxy's most feared creatures. Tomorrow was Sunday. Hana's weekend hunt was almost over. One more, she said, checking her list. The Shadow Swarm Queen. Wait, no. She looked at her notes again. We already caught her at Paradise Station. Kai stared at her. You mean, we are done? All 5 creatures? All 5 creatures. Hana looked at the time display. Saturday evening. Right on schedule, but it is impossible. 5 ancient monsters that have terrorized the galaxy for millennia. Caught in less than 2 days. Not caught, Hana corrected. Understood. The Voidstalker was captured with innovation. The Crystalline Devourer chose to come with us when offered better food. The Psychic Leviathan was confused by chaos. The Shadow Swarm was calmed by music. The Temporal Hunter was paralyzed by randomness. And now? Now we go home, Hana said. I promised Commander Wu I would have them back by Sunday night. It is only Saturday evening. We are early. As their ship jumped toward Nexus Station, Kai thought about everything he had seen. Each capture had seemed impossible until it happened. Each solution had been something no other species would have tried. Why do humans think so differently? He asked. Because we had to, Hana said. On Earth, humans were not the strongest or fastest or smartest animals. We survived by being creative, by trying new things, by making art and music and stories. We learned to think in ways that did not make sense to other creatures. And that made you better? It made us different. And in a galaxy where everyone thinks the same way, different can be very powerful. Outside their ship, stars wheeled in their ancient patterns. But the galaxy felt safer now. 5 ancient terrors were contained, not through superior strength or technology, but through understanding and creativity. Tomorrow, the galaxy would learn what humans could do when they set their minds to the impossible.